Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Funbearable. I am Backseat Brad, joined as always.
If you look to your left, you'll see Ray Harrington.
I'm Roadhead Ray Harrington.
Roadhead Ray Harrington.
I was going to say Shotgun Ray Harrington.
It begs the question, am I doing or getting?
Well, you're in the passenger seat, buddy. I
Oh,
don't
no.
want to be the bearer of bad news.
Bad news, the camera has now drastically shifted towards Roadhead Ray Harrington.
Really?
Well, it heard.
So what's going on right now today is, I came back from New York to get some episodes in with Ray before he heads back out to the Mediterranean.
And Brad.
Well, Brad was not heading to the Mediterranean.
But Brad's not going to the Mediterranean. He's going to the Mayan Riviera. He wants to see a squared off Minecraft pyramid.
Yeah, that's right. No,
He keeps referring to them as.
Yes.
Minecraft.
It's just like Minecraft. Wow.
No, so
I'm working on it, Brad.
we were coming back, and I was like, man, I can't believe I'm coming back just to do these episodes. Holy shit. And Ray was like, well, why don't you bring me to the airport, old chum? And I said,
Which I do appreciate. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And you're making it such a smooth operation, too.
Why?
Like, just arriving a half hour late
Well, hold
for
on.
my international flight, and then fiddling with all of this stuff, and then being like, oh, if you want to ride to the airport like a friend, you better make it content, bitch.
well, I was like,
But I do appreciate it. Right?
well, I think that one of the things that I always say, Brad can back me up, I always say I like to increase the value.
Yeah.
Right, Brad?
Yeah, you say everything is content all of the time.
No,
My
no.
life is the Truman Show. If Truman was cool, the Coolman Show.
Imagine if Truman was Ferris Bueller.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the log line on my Facebook page. No. But I was like, well, how about this? If we're all going to get in the car and drive, let's just give it a shot. We haven't podcasted in the car, but I have all the technology that it
Yeah.
should be possible. So we're recording with my GoPro, and we're using some of my wireless stuff to capture the audio, and I think this will be good.
I think we needed one other thing, which is a dash cam.
Yes.
For the inevitable collision.
I was thinking about last night how we were driving in New Jersey recently, the three of us, and I was watching videos on my phone as I was driving.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. You were like, you had it in the stand, like in the holder, but you were flicking through Instagram.
and I was watching car crash.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you doing? You shouldn't be scrolling while you drive. You know what I mean?
Oh, boy.
Oh boy, oh boy. The lives we live
I'm incorrigible.
The lives we take.
Yeah. So one of the
are equal to the lives we make.
Yeah.
I think they are. You've made a life. We haven't yet.
I have made a life, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Plus, there
right.
was that secret one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one that you're going to visit right now.
Yes. Ciao, Bella. Ciao, Bella.
My Mediterranean wife and child.
Yeah, I call it my feta family.
So one of the things we wanted to talk about this week that we didn't get to in our other recordings,
Pickpockets.
no, Roars of Rage.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Attenzione.
Are we saving?
Attenzione.
Are we saving Roars of Rage for a like experimental episode?
I think so. Well, here's what I think.
Yeah, that way we can lose it forever.
Oh no, I'm thinking maybe it'll encourage me, because I'll be jealous that I don't have any rage stories. Maybe we'll get some road rage and we'll capture it on.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's fair. Before we do,
Yeah, you definitely want evidence of crimes.
before we do the roars, I do have a question.
Ask me.
We've been making some goofs for the past couple of days because I'm on my way to the airport to fly to Rome, Italy.
Right.
Cradle of Civilization. No, wait, that's Africa. And I will be visiting these Mediterranean cities.
Yes.
Rome, Naples, Greece, Mykonos, Istanbul,
Turkey.
That's where Istanbul is. And so
You had me at Greasy Turkey.
so. I had you
I'm
at
stopping
the
this
Greasy
recording.
Turkey. I had you at the Greasy Turkey. It was that restaurant. I had
Actually,
you in the bathroom.
We didn't finish introducing ourselves. It was Roadhead getting Greasy Turkey, Chuck staying.
So I am concerned about the Attenzione Pickpocket, right? Because that
Right.
is a big thing going on right now.
Lots of
and I thought,
pickpockets.
what better kind of content for podcasting than coming up with some ways to maybe avoid or deal with Attenzione Pickpockets?
Okay, that's right.
So pickpocketing is such a big issue in Europe, and especially Italy as well, is in Europe. That it's like taking over like TikTok and stuff, right? There's this pickpocket lady in Italy that just goes around and just catches pickpockets in the act.
Oh yeah, you were saying that.
It's
yeah.
happening enough where someone can be like, I guess I'm gonna do social media now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to be an influencer
Yeah.
by walking around going, Attenzione, pickpocket, right?
Yeah, right.
And I look at myself, and like the first tip for pickpockets is don't look like a tourist. I am a 6'7", morbidly obese white man.
Yeah.
Just
the whitest.
strolling around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you got those big pearly whites. You got big pale cheeks.
You're going to be wearing an American flag cape?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your pinwheel hat.
Yeah.
Propeller beanie.
A hat that says, "We beat you in World War II."
An eagle on a shoulder.
More like Fool Cellini. I don't know what I'm saying. So what would you do? Someone comes up to you.
Yeah.
They do a classic distract, right?
Okay.
In some way.
Yep, there's bird shit on your shoulder.
Bird shit on your shoulder. Let me wipe it off you. You see them with their hand in the cookie jar, right? Don't carry a cookie jar. Don't carry your valuables in a cookie jar.
Well, I do.
The only thing I have of values, is cookies.
Yeah. Sir, is this like at the X-ray machine at the airport? Sir, is this your little owl filled with cookies? Yes.
Grazie.
Yeah. Grazie. It's an overnight flight.
Attenzione. I love Attenzione.
Cookie pata. But what would you do? Do you think you would just be like, this could potentially be dangerous. I shouldn't say anything. Do you grab them? You grab their wrists and you go, "What are you doing? Pick a pocket."
I think I put my hand on my valuables and like hold them close. Like, right? If you have like a wallet in your pocket and you're around someone that's you're nervous,
course.
I think you just put your hand in your pocket and hold your wallet yourself.
All right, let me say why I don't love that philosophy.
Okay.
Because here I am. Ray is like the apprentice pickpocket, and Ray goes up and he pretends to pickpocket you. You put your hands on your valuables, right?
Yeah.
Now I know, as the experienced pickpocket, where your valuables are.
So later on, you go say, "Oh, I know they're in his right pocket."
I dip in and I get
they
your.
They do their
get your
research,
stuff.
man. There are people out there that one of the scams on the street is somebody will like give you a bracelet or put a bracelet on. They'll be like, "What time is it?" And then you put your hand up to check your watch, and then they'll put a bracelet on you, right? And they'll be like, "Oh, it's just a gift or whatever," and you go to walk away, and they're like, "Will you make a donation?"
Yeah, that happens in Boston as well.
Yeah, but sometimes that's only step one.
Uh-oh.
Sometimes that step tells you where the money is kept.
Wow.
They come out, they give you like a €5 note,
right.
which is like $5. But then they see where you did that, and they have an accomplice.
Why is the world so... I feel like every step of the way, people are trying to take a thing out of my hand every day. It's
I think this is the way to do it. I think you walk around a tourist location. You walk around Italy saying that stuff out loud. Like, this guy's close to a breakdown. Don't fuck with him. Right? Nobody will pickpocket the insane man. Take your clothes off.
I'm just looking at my bills from my water company and my air conditioner repair.
Every day.
Someone's trying to take $1.
What if I put a little blood on my shirt? Yeah. Fake blood on my shirt.
What about this shirt that reads, "The Second Amendment travels with me"?
Ooh, but they may not be familiar with the Second Amendment.
Right.
Well, then a picture of a handgun.
They're Euro.
You know what would be good if you put like a bandage around your head, made it really look bloody.
Yeah,
and then you just kept
moaned a
going like, and like blinked all the time.
But no, but don't you then I think you look like an easier target.
Right, but you'd hope you're
This guy's diminished.
You're playing on their emotions.
Oh,
and
here's
you're
the thing though. You inside the gauze wrapped around your head, that's where your valuables are.
Ooh.
Nobody's going to unwind your head wound.
Yeah, attenzione.
We got it. Ooh. Also, how about this one?
Okay.
False wallet.
I
A
do.
wallet. Yeah.
False
I've
wallet
heard this before. A
with-
decoy.
with a decoy wallet with
Yeah.
a little note inside that says "Attenzione, false wallet."
Yeah.
And then you're dropping your chances down to 1 and 2 about which wallet they take.
That's true. But they also will take your phone. And you're using your phone to take pictures. You're using your phone to check the Google map. Right?
Yep.
This is interesting. I've never.
This is difficult.
I'll tell you a secret. And I hope that people don't take advantage of this. I've never really felt like I might be robbed or pickpocketed or taken or whatever.
That's called
Taken like
awareness.
Liam Neeson?
You got to have awareness.
Do you ever get robbed or mugged?
I've never been robbed or mugged, but I felt like I.
And this
would-
guy's
like,
a
I'm-
fucking target.
I know. I'm constantly on edge.
Yeah.
What do
My
you-
head's on a swivel.
He's been emotionally mugged
If I
before.
see a youth, I'm running in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Have either of you been robbed or mugged?
I have been like soft mugged.
Soft mug.
Softcore mugging.
What happened?
So I was in New Orleans.
You didn't get penetrated.
No, I did not get penetrated. I was in Nolans,
No.
and I was with my wife, and we I can't remember if we were married at the time, but either way, so we were walking, just walking in Nolans, Wait, that's Memphis, and somebody said, "Hey, my man," which I get a lot. I like if anybody's gonna call out to people in a crowd,
Yeah, it's
they
you.
call out to me
'Cause you're
because they
tall.
see me.
Yeah.
They just see me.
Your head is higher than everyone else's head.
Right. And I have a joke that I do on and off on stage, which is I am so easily muggable because somebody will be like, "Hey, my man," right? And I'm like, "Hi." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I have main politeness in me.
Yeah.
Where if somebody's talking to me, I will talk to them. I
Right.
have to be like, I've gotten better at being like, "No, thank you." You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And
I
moving
know.
on, just moving on.
I know, that's tough.
My buddy Lee Leshin is he's lived in Manhattan his whole life. He's so used to just like I'm all set,
Ignoring.
no thank you, and just like going. And I'm like, I can't. There's something in me, but
Yeah.
that's part of the trick that's happening, right? They rely on these social etiquette things.
Yeah,
Yes.
the signed CDs in like right outside the train station.
So-
Right. Oh, but so I'm in
Yeah.
Nolans. I'm walking. I hear, "Hey, my man."
Yeah.
Guy goes, "I bet I can tell you where you got your shoes."
Oh, I know this.
I know the goof, and I'm like, "Yeah, they're on my feet," right? And he goes, you know, and he like quickly before I can do anything, like reaches down and he has touched my shoe, and I look down and there's a glob of stuff on my shoe, and he's like, "I'm gonna polish your shoes," and I was like, "What? No, I'm all set, but there's stuff on my shoe now."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
I'm fucking pot committed, right?
Yeah.
So he's doing it before I can even say anything.
Right.
And I'm like, what the hell? And admittedly, this is the shameful part. There was a second where I was just like, wow, this is wild. What a neat experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just for a split second.
Yeah.
And then he stops that. Again, this all happens so fast you can't back out of it. And then he's like, all right, that's $20. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I just shined your shoes. It's $20. I'm like, I didn't ask you to do that. Like, so we go back and forth for a minute, and there's a group of people like right down the sidewalk,
Yeah.
and they're like, you need to pay him. You need to pay. And I realize, oh, they're all together.
Yeah.
Wow.
This could turn real bad. His demeanor changes entirely.
Yeah.
It is now only threatening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm in New Orleans with my wife. It's
Yeah.
nighttime. This is what's happening. It was like at the end of our trip, so cash wise, I was low. So I reach in my wallet. I've got like a 20 and a 10, maybe 2 20s, whatever it is. Not a lot of cash.
Right.
I give him the 20 because I'm like, this is the situation I'm in.
Yeah, I know.
I give him the 20 to avoid the group.
Yeah. I hear that.
And he looks at me and he goes, per shoe.
No.
Yeah, he goes 20 per shoe. So like this guy knows how to work this,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and that was the line for me.
Yeah.
That was the line where I went, no, I already gave you $20.
Yeah.
You got 20 out of me. Let's call it good.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, right? Like there was
Really?
I think he understood. I was prepared to be like, no, okay, now I'm going to be a problem.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And that was it. And it was humiliating and emasculating.
Yeah.
And it sucked.
Yep.
Was it mugging? No, but it was definitely
Yeah, it's close.
in that trick territory.
It's close.
Yeah.
I'll say this. So you know, you guys like to poke fun. I live in Staten Island. It's not New York. Ha ha ha. Very funny. Very
Merry
original.
Christmas.
Very accurate.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Crystal is very Crystal is
Billy Crystal.
Going back to Brad visiting Minecraft pyramid.
Yes.
Billy Crystal.
But the thing is, I am in Manhattan like all the time,
Yeah.
and so I have dealt with, like when I first moved there, I dealt with so many people, and I'm not going to use any slurs in this, but seriously,
Well, that's
like
a refreshing change.
a guy
this?
a guy came up. A guy came up to me one time.
Not like
He
my
goes,
blog, toxicchucksyndrome.com.
and he goes, you got a light? And I'm like, no, sorry. And like, you know, I legitimately don't have a light.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he goes, you fucking, and he said the F word, you know,
Oh,
and he was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and he was like right in my face, like basically like, I'm crazy enough to fight you because you don't have a light.
Yeah.
Which it's fine. But so what happened was, like when that first happened, like I kind of was like talking to the guy directly, but over time, in terms of like being in Manhattan all the time and doing that stuff, now
Yeah.
I just walk past
Yeah, you just
everybody.
ignore it, yeah.
And like if they say something to me like that, I might respond with
No, sorry, and you keep walking.
yes, exactly. I might be
Right,
like,
right.
nope, and I just don't even look at them. Now I basically, you know, I still have a politeness in me, and you don't know if someone's just being like a regular person.
Yeah.
But I just don't look at anybody, and I never stop, and I never turn my body towards those people.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
tough.
a big thing.
It's tough.
It is tough.
It's part of living in a more active place. You know
I
what
know,
I mean?
I know, yeah.
That's what it is.
I'm a soft touch. I've never been mugged,
Mm-hmm.
but I've definitely given money to people who are completely dishonest, whether it's my car broke down, or I need to take the bus, or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true.
fine.
Chuck borrows money.
Yeah.
You know, years ago, when I was still on campus in Peoria, I was still an undergrad. Somebody came in. They walked into like the lobby of our residence hall and said like, "Hey, I got to take the bus. I'm out of gas. Whatever."
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, "Here you go. Here's a $2 bill, so that we always remember that the two of us shared this moment."
That's a Brad
Yeah.
moment.
Well, and it was
Oh,
like
man.
intentionally like, I know you're not telling the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
And also like, good luck spending this $2 bill.
yeah.
And
Sorry.
and that was that. But then, you know, in Providence, probably like 2009, 2010, hanging out outside the theater for the Providence Improv Fest, a guy came up and said, "Hey, can I have 35 cents?" And I said, 35 cents? What are you going to do? Go back in time to 2006 and make a phone call? Something like that. Something dumb like that.
Okay.
Too long to be funny.
Yeah.
And
Just long enough to get stabbed.
yes, and he was like, "Why do you need to know what I'm spending this money on?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just making a joke." He's like, "They had a system like that once. It was called slavery." And he's
Oh,
like
shit.
wandering away from me
Oh,
with my
that's-
35 cents
called
that I gave
accounting.
him.
That's not what I read
It's
about.
accounting.
In terms of slavery, that's not what I read.
No.
I read
Also,
a different thing.
also accurate. And so he's shouting at me like all the way down the street, and there's another improv group waiting out there, and they've seen, you know, a tenth of this interaction, and they're like, "Why is that guy so mad?" I'm like, "Because I gave him the money he asked for." That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, similar situation for me in Providence. A guy was like, "Hey, can I have some money?" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I don't have cash," which I really don't have a lot of cash.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went into a pizza place, and we got some pizza. I forget who it was, but we had an extra piece left over at the end, and I boxed it up. And then I was walking back out, and the guy's like, "Hey, can I have some money for food?" And he said food both times. So I was like, "Oh," I'm like, "Here, have this pizza." He's like, "What is it?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Barbecue chicken or something like that."
It's a gift horse.
And he's like, "I wanted hot dogs." So I said, "Oh, okay."
It's really tough. 'Cause I struggle with it because there's the part of me that's like, hey man, you said you needed food and I'm giving you food.
Yes.
You know, literally beggars can't be choosers.
Right.
But there's also another part of me where I'm like, it's a human being, and
I know,
yeah,
they're having a hard time.
They want what they want, and they
Right.
like what they like, and Apple Jacks and whatnot. You know, so it is hard. It's very difficult to balance, like,
Then again-
humanity and goodness,
Well-
and also I don't want to be taken advantage of.
Well, think about this though. Just devil's ad. If you were in the situation where you're just like, I'm just really hungry and I don't have anywhere to stay. Can I have some food? And someone's like, do you
Yeah.
want this food? Would you really be like, no, I want something specific?
Well, we are privileged enough,
Yeah, it's
and I don't
privilege.
use privilege in the term of like the Twitter privilege.
Yeah.
I mean just we are privileged.
Right.
Like, oh, we're privileged to be here. You
Yes.
know, that kind of thing.
Sure, yeah.
We're privileged enough to also be like well off enough
Yeah.
where we would see it very Seinfeldian, where it would be rude to turn it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, like if I said, can I
I
please
see.
have, like, I'm dying of thirst, can I please have a drink?
Yes,
and you
I see.
handed me whatever.
I see.
A high C, and I'd be like, you know what I mean? But I know later on I would be on this podcast telling you guys, I had to drink it. I had to drink
Of
it. I
course.
didn't want it. It tasted disgusting, but I had to.
Oh, I
I'm
love
being
high C.
polite.
Are you
Oh,
crazy?
yeah.
You know, it's the same as like when you went to a friend's house as a kid.
Yeah.
And they had dinner, and it was like, I remember one of my first like I'm eating dinner at a friend's house.
Yeah.
Was an eye-opening experience that changed me.
Oh, for sure.
To find out what they think is like normal food was
yeah.
just like, whoa, what are we doing? What are we doing here? You put,
know.
I think I've told the story, but they put hot dogs in lasagna.
Oh, no.
Yes, sir. They put hot dogs
I'm
in
intrigued.
lasagna.
I'm intrigued too. I gotta say. Got any high C flowing?
Oh, that's how that song goes, right?
Yes.
When the hot dog's in lasagna, it's amore.
So explain that. So a traditional lasagna, except for the hot dogs.
Basically, yes. And I was
Wow.
just like cut up hot dogs are in it. And I was like, I was a kid. I was like a small boy.
Right.
And I was
Yeah.
just like, I don't, this is weird, right? Like, I didn't say anything. But so, of course, I ate. And I was like, oh, this is so good. I'm really,
Grazie,
stuffed.
grazie. Attenzione.
Attenzione delicioso. You know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was fucked up. It was weird. But speaking of tempering your inner feelings,
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
let's transition
Yeah.
over to the dish.
Oof.
And that dish is Brad Rohr.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Roars of Rage.
Having
It's good because
infinite rage in a public setting.
Because I'm so poorly lit back here. It's
From the
like
shadows.
It's like I'm a witness. Oh no!
Does that change anything?
No. Hang on, let the GoPro catch up. No, it does not. It's like I'm a witness, an anonymous witness, and I'm telling a story.
Yeah.
It's taxi cab confessions.
Yes.
So I went to the apartment. And when he came out, she
I'm
told
not-
me I didn't have my receipt.
He told me.
So I fucking punched her.
I have two anecdotes,
told you I didn't-
neither of which I am proud of,
Can
but
we
both of
lead
which
with the bookstore?
happened. Yes, we will lead with the bookstore.
Yes.
We've been
So-
teasing this for weeks.
So Brad, he's a
A
mouse.
weak tease.
He's a mouse of a man, right?
yes.
But once in a while, that mouse inside turns into a rat.
Okay, I don't like the analogy.
And so, and he turned. And
Sometimes that mouse hulks out.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So
He
Brad
turns
has a
into the
couple
mulk.
flip out. I've seen a few Brad flip out.
That's true.
They're
That's
pretty
true.
scary.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Yeah.
And-
You remind me a lot of my grandmother when she would flip out. Like
Yeah.
the way she would shake. I'm not even joking.
I
Why was
remind
your
you of your
grandmother
grandmother in
flipping
so many ways.
One time I called her.
Oh no.
I'll tell you another time.
Oh god. One time I called her, ha ha ha, I'll tell you another time.
Yeah.
That's what the transcript says right now. You were just horrible to your fucking grandmother.
and then the transcript has
She flips
brackets.
out all the time.
Coyote laugh.
Yeah. The idea of it,
Various
right?
animal sounds.
God, I broke in and stole all her shit. She'd flip out. I would like fake out a punch, and I'd be like, "You flinched, you little pussy," to my grandmother, and she was always shaking.
That, two for
Whoa.
flinching.
Yeah.
Boy. That's fun.
Oh my god. All right, so you're in. Is this a Barnes and
This
Noble?
is a Barnes and Noble, both of them.
All right, and you're
this is
about to be
probably
ignoble.
Like 2007-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Possibly. I don't have good excuses. Was I in my diet? Maybe. But also, was I?
Who are you, Kathy?
Was I? Was I just in a bad place? Also, yes.
I think Brad might be Kathy.
He is similar to Kathy.
I'm painting the picture.
I
and I
have
think
a
it works.
nose. Kathy does not have a nose.
Well, what
ergo-
I'm as
suggesting-
attracted to Brad as I am to Kathy.
Thank you.
I am suggesting this though,
Yeah.
that the cartoonist knows
Kathy
Brad
Guys White.
well.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
So I'm
Author
in,
of
and there at this point I've read the first 4 George R.R. Martin books in the Song of Ice and Fire
Yes,
series.
yes.
And in fact, BarnesandNoble.com has said the release date for book 5 is whatever date. So I went to the local Barnes & Noble to pick up this new book that I had been looking forward to. Those of you familiar with George R.R. Martin and the publication saga know that release date was hogwash and codswallop. It was false.
It was poppycock.
inaccurate. Yes, balderdash, if you will.
George R.R. Martin is never going to finish the series. He will pass before he ever publishes, and someone else will have to take the work that he has left and cobble something together. That is truly what I believe.
Yes.
As someone who has read all of the books up to where we are.
Yeah.
Continue, please.
So
you're there.
I'm
you're,
there.
You're expecting. Which book is book 5?
Feast for Crows, maybe? Dance with Dragons.
Dances with Dragons.
Yeah.
Kevin
Costner.
Kevin Costner
Yeah.
Dances with Dragons.
Yes.
So you're there.
I'm in there and I'm looking
you
around.
Know, in your mind, you know that book is there and available.
It's from bn.com. I know the book is available. So I'm looking around, looking for displays. It's not there.
Boynudes.com.
And went up to this, honestly, elderly woman who works there.
Oh no! Oh no!
Like a kindly old woman, glasses, classic librarian.
Hello.
And
I do this part time because I just like to be out with people.
it may
I
be.
miss my grandson, Chuck.
Yeah.
Getting yelled at.
So-
I have PTSD from my grandson Chuck.
Gave me 2 for flinching.
2 for flinching.
So I said,
Oh, here comes this nice lady. How can I help you,
Yeah.
ma'am? My name's Brad. Oh, okay.
I said, hey, I'm looking for this book. And she, type. I don't see it. I'm like, okay, well, it says on the website, there's a release date. Today's the release date. Type. Oh, I don't see that. And I think that was all it took. Maybe one more interaction.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, then why does it say it on the website? Like, I definitely raised my voice.
You raised your voice for this. This is
And,
this is your Kill Bill music kicking in.
Yeah.
Wee-oo,
Yeah,
right? Like
it's
that stuff.
zooming in on my pupil.
Dun, da, da, da.
And
You yelled
and,
in the Barnes & Noble, why is it on the
why is it on the website?
Yes.
And she, to her credit, was very calm and said, I don't know, sir. Yes. She flinched, so I punched her twice.
she immediately peed.
And I stalked out. I wouldn't say I stormed out, but I definitely did not saunter out.
So that's all you said was why is it on the website?
I was so mean to this woman.
Was it just that sentence though?
It was just that.
Did you
That's not so
did you
bad.
slap your hand on the counter?
I think I gesticulated wildly. I don't know that I slapped my hand on the counter. My
Yeah,
arms.
he does. He's
Yeah.
got Muppet arms when he
Yes.
gets mad.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I do.
And then so you said that and immediately turned and walked out.
She responded something like, I don't know, sir, or something like that. And
I'm sorry,
what a
sir.
bitch.
Yeah, and I definitely
I just peed all over these Malcolm Gladwell books.
Yes, I've inherited this from my dad, who I've seen get mad at like McDonald's.
Yeah.
And he'll like storm out and say something like, fast food, my foot. Something like that.
Because it was taking too long?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's happened more than once.
Or does he think fast food is a verb?
Nope.
Someone fast food my foot.
Yes. So that one, not great, but not the worst.
Yeah.
Let's flash back early 2000s. I'm in the prime of my life, not realizing it. Post back surgery. Post back surgery number 1.
Right.
And a new
They tried to
restaurant.
put that spine in and it rejected it. Too easy. It was too easy.
A new restaurant has opened up in Cherville, Indiana, called Buffalo Wild Wings.
Ooh, I've heard of this
Yes.
place. Pray tell.
Yes,
That's
and they are now open, and we're generally excited about it. This time, I still wasn't a wing guy because sauce.
Yeah, and it was
Right.
intimidating, and you were like, "Do they have a buffalo mild wings?"
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I'll go there.
Also, let's keep the buffalo out of it. Let's do Indiana mild wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's just McDonald's chicken McNuggets.
Do you have Albany warm bread?
Yes. So they open up and they, announce, hey, we're only doing takeout orders until 4 p.m. or whatever. And my friend Steve orders a bunch of takeout wings. He and his family do like, honestly, I think like 100 wings.
Wow.
So 4 flavors,
Yeah.
25 each, whatever.
That's fun.
And they order it, they pick it up, they get home, and they realize the people have forgotten 25 wings.
They got 75.
So they only got 75 of the 100 they paid
That's
for.
25%
Yeah.
Correct.
of their wingage.
So they say, Brad, you live, on the other side, and you're coming to our house anyway. Could you pick up the other 25 wings?
That
And
makes
I say,
sense.
I would love to. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So I walk in there, and crowded, packed. Again, this is like, the first Buffalo Wild Wings in the area.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
new. It's big. There's TVs. Probably
There's
the first.
people there confused.
the
Where's
first-
the
yeah.
rest of the chicken?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
We're in Indiana. Why isn't this corn? And so I eventually make my way to the register and I say, hey, my friend did a pickup order earlier and you guys forgot 25 of the wings.
Okay.
And they said, we're not doing takeout orders. I said, right. He ordered it earlier. And they said, okay, well, we stopped doing takeout orders. And I said, I don't think you're hearing me. He ordered it earlier. You didn't give him everything he paid for. So why can't I just get these wings to go? And they were like, well, we're not doing takeout orders. And it was like a teenage
That is
girl.
maddening. That
It
is
was,
maddening. Yeah.
Of course.
I definitely swore at her, and I don't remember, like,
A
why,
teenage
why-
girl.
Oh yeah, I was like, why won't you fucking listen to me? Something like that.
Yeah.
And the manager is behind her. He's like, hey, you don't need to talk to her like that. I'm like, I know, and I'm sorry. Like, immediate regret.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew it didn't make the situation any better.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
just frustrated that they were not hearing me.
Yeah, I hear you.
And so they eventually, made the wings. I paid for them again, so they made an extra whatever dollars out of me.
Wow.
And I
man.
left. I slunk out of there because I was so ashamed
Right.
that I
Yeah.
had lost it on this
Yeah.
innocent employee.
Yeah.
Because you're screwed at that point, no matter what you say or do.
Yep.
Like, you have been unreasonable.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
And
it's
therefore,
tough.
your claim is unreasonable.
And so I left. I delivered the wings and wouldn't go back. My friends are like, we're going to eat there after work or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to. I'm gonna go home because I was so embarrassed to show my face in there. Finally went in, like the managers were, I don't remember the girl at all, but I do remember the manager. He's working. I'm like avoiding his gaze, like, hiding behind a menu every time he walks by.
Yeah.
It was, I'm so ashamed of past Brad.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I hated it. I hated that rage.
I will say I did do a similar thing. I've already told you both the story where when I said to the woman at Wendy's, I went to a Wendy's and they forgot tomatoes on one of my burgers, and so I realized it. And I went to another Wendy's close by that was on my way, and I told them, and I was like, "Can you just put tomatoes on this?" And I ordered it with tomatoes, and they're like, "We can't take a burger back, and I won't give you a new burger," which I thought was shitty.
Sure. Yeah.
But because all I wanted to do was I didn't want them to take it back. I wanted them to just put tomato on and give it back to me, and that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And they were like, "Nope, we can't take any food in through the window." And I said, if you're telling the truth, that's fine. But if you're lying to me, you're a fucking asshole, right?
Yep.
And so what happened was I had to go back to that Wendy's after that.
Yeah.
And I would always put my thing down and
Oh,
hide my
yeah,
own face and
Jesus.
sit really high. And I would be like,
So-
I'll have a plate of chocolate frosting.
He's ordering as character Brad.
yeah.
I guess I have.
However, that made things worse.
I will say, and I don't want to.
That's fine.
Brad has a rage thing, I think,
I do.
and I like just do not have that part of me, and I've got into fights with people who have told me you cheat during arguments because you never get mad, and I was like, but it's not a cheat.
Right,
Like
yeah.
when I used to fight with my friend Tom,
Yeah.
he used to get so frustrated. He would say, he would get like basically, Brad, you've been there. You've been
Yes.
like frustrated with rage during a fight.
Yes.
And I just stay completely calm, and it's maddening to the other person.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. But it's like I can't even control it.
Yeah.
I just don't have the rage thing. Like, how little kids would like throw their Sega Genesis controller. I've never
Yeah.
even come close to having
Little
that feeling.
kids.
How old were you when you threw your last controller?
Oh, geez.
What day was that?
All right, I
What
turned
day was that?
45 on Monday, so 45.
Well, you told me didn't you throw your stapler at your secretary?
I threw my stapler numerous times in the. I lost my. I lost my mind in that office.
I feel like I should have known this before we started doing the podcast.
Hold on. I was joking
Also-
about at a person.
Yeah, I
Why
didn't
are
throw it
all
at
of
a
your
person.
anecdotes for both of you so far just aimed at women?
Oh, wait.
Haven't you ever lost it at a dude?
I did have a huge fight with a guy.
I lose it at Chuck.
Brad doesn't even remember the girl that he swore at, but he remembers the disappointed man, right?
Yes.
Can I tell you-
Psychological.
Can I tell you this? I'm way more likely to have an argument with a man than a woman.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
way
Yeah,
more
yeah,
likely.
yeah.
Because I do get into tiffs with
Tiffany.
with Tiffany.
Yeah.
With people that work at like retail stores when they're being like that. Like when Brad went in and said like, "Hey, you guys made this mistake.
and
I'm here to
that is
rectify."
super frustrating, and I get
Yeah,
it. And
me
I
too.
have lost my cool a few times in places, but like, I
Yeah,
think
you almost
there's-
got thrown off the airport, the airplane the other day.
yeah, there's like a layer of awareness there where I'm like, I also have to know at all times I am a 6'7" big guy.
Yeah, you are more intimidating
Like
than a Brad.
me raising my voice is very different
Yeah,
than
it's
someone
true.
else raising their
Right.
voice.
Like your wife. Like if it's you and your wife and one of
Yeah.
you raises your voice, you should let it be her because
Yes.
it doesn't seem like she's going to put someone in a bear hug
Yeah,
and
but
take
then
them down.
if she raises her voice, I have to deal with that. I have to punish her.
No, that's true.
You know,
That's a good point.
so ridiculous. But it is maddening when you're in a situation where you're dealing with like with that Buffalo Wild Wings situation.
Right.
Nothing can frustrate. There are two things that will not set my fuse up. It will
Yeah.
cut the fuse short and light directly at the dynamite. Right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
And that is an issue with an electronic thing.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm doing what I always do and it should work and
Yes.
I've checked all the things and it's not. That is it will set me off where I'm like, I know that this is supposed to happen this way. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
and
Yeah.
it's so infuriating.
Oh, I get the worst thing for me is building furniture during the summer when it's hot. You ever get like
Oh,
under
sure.
a desk and you're trying to screw something in and it's actually you're
heavy
sweating
with jizz. Slippery to hold.
That's Chuck's desk.
Yeah, it stinks.
No, but I remember building some stuff in the summer, maybe outside, and just being so frustrated and covered in sweat.
Sure.
That's what kills me.
But the other thing that will frustrate me is when there is an easily solvable problem.
Yeah.
If I could simply talk to a human being that is directly connected to resolving the issue.
Right.
I know.
And like so what you're talking about, Brad, with that Buffalo Wild Wings situation, it's bananas. You feel like you're in a universe that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
like physics
exactly.
now have no meaning because this clearly happened.
Yes.
But because they stopped doing takeout at a certain time, they're like, well, then we can't fix what we just did.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like saying, well, if I ordered the takeout for 100 wings
yes.
and you stopped doing it, what was it for?
4, something like
Okay,
that.
I ordered at 358.
Yeah.
You didn't give me, it didn't get rung up to pay until 402. I can't pay for that because
Yep.
that's takeout.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You still have to give it to me,
yes.
but I'm not paying for it because you don't do takeout past 4.
Yeah.
That's the logic.
Yeah,
And it is
exactly.
infuriating where you're like, is there someone that understands this?
I feel like there is a thing that happens, and I worked in retail for a long time. Brad did. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You worked at the movie theater, and you worked at
I worked
Arby's,
at,
and
I worked at Casual Mail, Big
Oh, right.
and Tall.
Yep.
I worked at Best Buy.
that's right. Yes.
And I worked at a Totes Sunglass Hut.
Wow. Totes my goats.
When you grow up in an outlet store town,
yes.
you're going to work some of these places.
yes.
All right?
But I feel-
and I've dealt with the shittiest people.
Well, I was going to say, I felt like one of the things I realized with my fellow employees working at all these retail places is that some employees, they get so in tune with their jobs that they stop understanding that A, the customer doesn't work there and doesn't know all the policies
Right.
and rules. And also, they just go like, here's what I have to do for my job. And they have this thing where they just focus on that and they don't bend to what makes sense for customers. They don't bend to what makes sense for just general, whatever. And they just get really up their own ass. My example is always that I worked at GameStop one time and an older woman who was probably in like, let's say her like mid 50s.
Yeah, she worked at
Another
Barnes and
woman.
Noble.
Yeah. She came into GameStop and she
Her
goes
name
like,
was Noni Staten.
and she was like, she was like, "Hi, like, I wanted to get the new Mario game." And someone was like, "Well, okay, like, the new Mario game." And she said, "Yeah, my son has like an Xbox or something." She said something like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, Mario games don't come out for Xbox, and they were just like total dicks to her. And
Yeah.
I was like, why do you think that she has to know that?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to talk to her like that. You have to say,
Yeah.
you have to figure out, like, well, how did this, you can explain to her, actually, Mario games don't come out for Xbox, that's Nintendo. Do you think that maybe you have a Nintendo? Like, how did
Right.
this conversation happen?
Right.
But they just have, like, bah, 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 and, like,
It's wild that they're like video game stores can have people that are the cliche from record stores.
that's exactly what it is.
You know what I mean?
I think it's worse at video game
yeah.
stores.
Well,
But-
because they're so desocialized.
That's yes. And then, but Brad, you dealing with that person at that restaurant, to me, they're so focused on, we don't do takeout after this time, that
Yep.
they're not even listening to the words that you're saying.
No.
To be fair, it was also brand new,
Yeah.
True.
and it was a teenage girl who
Hey.
was just like,
Yeah,
These are
she's
the rules
powerless
I've been
in this
told."
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
looking back, I should have said, "Can I please speak to a manager?" That's it.
Yeah. And then that manager behind her would have turned around.
Yes.
And said hello.
Yep.
The thing is too,
Can I
like,
please speak to a manager? Emphasis
Ma'am.
on man.
I gotta say, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but one of my conflict resolution like things, for especially for public and for dealing with retail, is playing dumb. And I
Yes.
think that one of the things that it really helps with is stopping situations from getting shitty.
Sure.
And so in that situation, like the playing dumb version would be like, "Oh, okay, you don't do takeout after 4, let's say,
Right.
after 4. So they paid for 25 wings that you didn't give them. So what should we do about that?"
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and that way now you're saying, okay, then I guess I'm not asking for takeout,
Right.
but they paid for an
Yeah.
order they didn't get.
I mean, the situation was extra complicated because I didn't have the receipt.
I also think it's weird that
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't call ahead and kind of figure this out.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird
That's
too.
the move.
Yeah.
They just sent Brad in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never
Send
send
him
Brad.
back.
To the
Nicole.
point where I'm like, did they really forget these wings, or was I just?
Am I being punked?
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
I get punked by my friends?
I do think one of the things, Brad, with your rage,
Yes.
I do think that you'll get mad quick
Yes.
and then you'll start communicating poorly.
Yes.
Well, that's what happens with anger.
I
Like,
know,
if you get
exactly,
angry,
exactly.
you can't communicate.
Yeah,
properly.
exactly. I think
I
that's
mean,
right.
I think
Yeah.
there's been some fun stuff that has come out of my rage as well.
oh, of course.
When I
Those paintings are beautiful.
First of all, when I worked at Walgreens and was a manager, assistant manager, executive assistant manager, whatever. I think I refused one return in 4 years because it was just, we were told basically do whatever the customer wants, because if you don't, they're going to call up and complain.
Sure.
They're going to get what they wanted. They're going to get something extra, and you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, right.
And the only exception I can think of, sorry that it was also a woman, was somebody had taken something off the shelf. Honestly, I think it was condoms. And my pharmacy tech saw them and called it and said hey, they were comparing this to a receipt that looked beat up. We think they're going to try and return it for cash. And sure enough, seconds later, this woman walks to my counter and she's like, "Hey, I want to return this." I'm like, "Hey, my pharmacy tech just
They're
called
too
and said
big.
my pharmacy tech just called and said she saw you take it off the shelf." And she's like, "Well, she didn't." I'm like, "Well, she has no reason to lie in this situation, so I'm not going to give you your money back." And the woman was like, "Fine," and she just left.
Yeah.
And, but that was the only time. Otherwise, they come in and there's a dollop of cough syrup left in the bottle, and you're
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
this didn't work." I'm like, "Oh, so sorry. Here you go. Here's your $8.99."
You
doc."
could have just said, "Why are you returning them? Are you planning on not getting fucked anymore?"
Yeah. Are you planning on raw dogging? Because
Wow.
if so, let me
Bad
enter my
choices.
dog in this No, when I worked at Walgreens, and it was a simple thing where it was just I was busy and I got called to the register again, and I was in the office, and I took the work keys and I was like, "Damn it!" and I threw them across the room. They hit the keyboard to the computer, broke off the 6th key, but then stuck into the wall point of key first. And I'm like, now I'm not mad because that's cool.
Yeah, that's true, but it's also crazy.
Also crazy, yes.
Man, I will say when I was a assistant manager at the Casual Mail,
Yeah.
it was an outlet store. Summers, packed with people.
Right, tourists.
Tons of
You're
tourists.
picking their pockets.
Uh,
Attenzione!
Oh no, it's Attenzione Pickpocket.
Okay.
It's big pockets.
Pocket.
Yeah, that's true.
And French Canadians,
Right.
Quebecois,
Quebec.
come down. That's my joke of Maine is Canada's Florida, right?
Right.
So I do remember there was one gentleman who came in with his wife and was like, he was just so shitty the whole time.
Yeah.
Just very like, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
And he had his wife getting stuff for him and bringing it to the dressing room to try on. There's like a line of people waiting to get in the dressing room because you're not supposed to do that, and it's like
Yeah.
super busy. And he was just a complete asshole the
Yeah.
whole time.
Right.
And then I'm ringing things in. He wants to like try and haggle on price. I'm like, it doesn't work. That's not what happens. The number's there, and then you give me that. And I'm ringing in all of these clothes. He's got like thousands of dollars of clothes that he's buying,
Right.
and he's complaining about something. I don't even remember what he was complaining about.
Yeah.
But he was so shitty the whole time, and like didn't give a shit about any of the customers around him.
Right.
Didn't give a shit about the employees.
Yeah.
Was treating the other employees like shit. My little part-timer guy.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And I'm ringing, scanning codes and putting stuff in. And of course, he's got like, you know, coupons that he brought in and shit like that. And he's saying something, and like he's just complaining about something. And he goes, you know, I don't have to shop here. You know, I don't. Like, and he's saying that. And a moment happened in me. I didn't flip out. I didn't show anger.
Yeah.
But I put the scanner down, and I went, okay. And he went, what? Right? And I went, if you don't have to shop here, I don't have to sell you anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
And the power in that moment that
Yeah.
I felt was fucking intoxicating.
Yeah.
Because this man had spent an hour and a half, 2 hours with his wife fucking snapping his fingers, getting all these clothes. He's complaining because he's angry. He just has to try things on.
Yeah.
Something about fat guys going to the steak. Do not want to try anything on.
Yeah.
And he was infuriated.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You have to sell this to me. And I went, I don't have to sell this to you.
Yeah.
You can't buy these clothes. You've been rude to the customers in my store. You have been rude to my employees in my store. And I guess today it's my store.
Wow.
Get out.
Damn.
Right? And he was like, I'll just go up to Portland, you know, because there was one in Portland, Maine.
Right.
And I went, I'll make a quick call then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I called Portland and I said, there's this dude. Here's his name. Right?
Yep.
Because he had his little customer card and all that shit.
Damn.
Don't sell him any clothes. And they were like, gladly. We get to be mad now? Woohoo.
Yeah, I know.
But there was a beautiful power in that moment. And it's extra sweet because it was a big and tall clothing store.
Right.
Yeah.
So there were no other options for this man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
That would be a nightmare for me. But like, don't be that person. You know what I mean?
That's
So,
what's
yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because it's so funny. I all these different like moments where people get into big fights, especially within customer service and customer things. There's always a moment that turns. And I always want to say, like, why take that turn?
Right.
Why go in the direction of being a piece of shit?
Usually
Yeah,
it's because I'm hungry.
Well, it's also like, and if
Which,
you
by the way, I'm hungry right now.
and if you do say one thing that you feel is a little shitty, then why don't you immediately go like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, I'm really
Sorry,
frustrated."
it's getting heated. I
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah, exactly, and you're done.
Oh, I've definitely done. I'm taking my
Sorry.
bad day out on you, and that's not fair to you.
yeah, sure. There you go.
Can we start over? And I've done
Right.
that probably twice.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Do you lean in for the kiss right after?
Tongue out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dalai Lama
it,
style.
we did a thing on the on the Chuck and Brad podcast, and we haven't. I don't think Ray knows about this segment called Chuck's Petty Printouts, and it was when I would have fights with people online, and I
Oh,
would bring
God.
it in.
Like in the IMDb
That
comment
seems
section.
Yeah, that seems really healthy.
Well, it was also like the eBay stuff when I was selling
Yeah.
stuff on eBay. I remember one time this woman, she bought she bought an iPod from me. This is a long time ago,
Yeah.
and it was broken, and I sold it for like wicked, like $20, and this is at a time where it would probably be 150 new.
Did it say broken on the
It said
title?
sold as is, broken, it was listed at 4 parts only.
Okay, all right.
Right? Like you have to list it that way on eBay.
Yeah.
And she bought it from me for $20. wrote to me after Christmas.
It only plays 2 songs from Jimmy's Chicken Shack. You can't load more, and you can't take them off. That's it.
It's the same song.
Yeah.
We'll make the bed up straight.
Yep.
That's a great
I
song.
always stay out late.
It's a great.
Yeah. What do I do?
You know we played with Jimmy's Chicken Shack?
Oh yeah.
My band played with them in
No
Connecticut.
shit. I love
Yeah,
that.
I know. That was a great song.
Dude, there was like 2 summers where I was like, Jimmy's Chicken Shack is the best.
They're the
and
next
I love,
Rolling Stones.
I love JCS.
Yeah.
JCS is awesome. But yeah, I really did like.
No, they're good.
Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
But so she wrote to me after Christmas.
Yep.
And she wrote to me, she says, I want you to know you ruined my daughter's Christmas because you sent us a broken iPod and she opened it on Christmas morning and she was so excited and then it didn't work.
Jesus.
Yeah. And I was like, I was like, how can I take responsibility for this?
Right.
I'm like, I had to sell it broken as is, 4 parts only. Like, I can't, what could I do? But eBay sides with the buyer, so they had her return it, and I had to give her money back.
Wow.
I know. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'm now currently a little nervous.
Why is that?
Well, we started out a half hour late.
Half hour, yep.
There's
okay.
been a lot of traffic. If viewers are watching this, there's been many moments of me going like that, like clenching up because we keep hard stopping.
Well-
so we don't rear end something.
We're in stop and go traffic.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also your fuel light, your alarm thingy just went ding, ding,
sure
ding.
did.
And I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh no.
But we're so close to the airport. 13 minutes.
Yes.
First of all, that says 15 minutes.
It says 13.
it says 13.
It says 15, the thing on the right, the sign.
Okay, well, my
Oh,
GPS says
well.
13.
All right, we're going to
All
find out who's right.
Yeah, we are.
Fuck. We just talked about all these like rage situations. You want to know a rage situation where I'm contractually obligated to be in Italy tomorrow, and this flight is like happening?
And you got me behind a wheel with a microphone in one hand and a coffee in the other.
Yeah. I tried to get you there, buddy. It's just, But hey, maybe we can do another podcast.
Let's go podcast on the side of the road as we wait for Brad to get back with a can of gas.
Yeah,
Do you
we'll
remember,
interview the AAA guy?
Man, one of my favorite moments ever. It's me, our good buddy Derek Furtado, our good pal Lee Leshin, and
Yeah.
Ray Harrington, and we're driving in Maine.
Oh, yeah.
We got no service. We can't
No,
use GPS.
it's Vermont.
Oh, Vermont.
Yeah.
Vermont. We got no service, no GPS. We're driving on this lonely
Yes.
road with no street lights and no gas stations, and my car has done that like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we'll come up at a gas station soon. And they're just like,
Oh, my God.
They're
Yeah,
all flipping.
We were at an Airbnb for a television pilot festival.
That's
Yes.
right.
That was a weird festival.
Yeah.
The gentleman who ran it, I think, is suspect as shit. Very
Yes.
sus.
Yes.
His first name was Sus. His last name was Sus.
Yes.
I thought his last name was going to be Picious.
It was actually Vicious.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. What? Hello, George
That's
Lucas
when
here.
it seems like
George Lucas. Did somebody
Sus-
say vicious?
Suspicious.
Suspicious.
Oh,
Darth
wow.
Suspicious.
Sounds spooky.
Whoa. You can't trust him. Andy's scary. Wow. What is he, Jared Leto?
What is he, me?
So anyway, we had this Airbnb there. It was a beautiful Airbnb. Like
Great.
it was like an incredible house. There's
Yeah.
a pool table downstairs.
little
all that
scary. A little scary
Right.
because of I don't know if you remember the architecture.
Yes.
With all the locked doors all over the place that
Yeah.
seemed like they were connected to each
stuff.
other.
Yeah, we couldn't go in one part of the house.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how that's where he is.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Perfect.
And it's a beautiful town, but it is the
Yes.
middle of Vermont. Like there's not much around.
Right.
And we have a lot of space around us. Anyway, we decided to go for a drive. Like the sun was setting, and we were like, let's
Yeah.
go for a drive. Let's see what's around. And we found a couple of little towns around, but it's like, let's just drive down here. And it was really fun.
Right.
It was a really good time.
Yeah.
And it's the 4 of us. We're all there for Undependent for the pilot.
Yes.
And we're driving. The sun is setting. It's beautiful. We're all da 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 da. What a fun life we live.
Joking
right?
about Airbnbs, Scarebnb, working on
We're coming up
script.
with Scarebnb and doing all
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
And then the gas light goes on, and we're like, well, should we turn around and go back to the town we passed
Right.
like 15 miles ago?
Right.
I'm sure there's another town up ahead.
Yes.
And we all talked about it, and we all were men and agreed we go on.
Yes.
right? We continue on. We don't turn around.
Right.
We're men.
Backtrack.
We're
Yes.
manly men who will spend the next 45 minutes scared. Right? Like that's what it was. There was no town forever. It got pitch black.
Oh, yeah.
Street lights gone. We just see farmhouses occasionally in the distance.
Yes.
And we're looking and looking for gas, and like gas is not coming, right?
No.
Right. And it's just
We must have driven for like 40 minutes
Truly.
on E. It
Yeah.
was like,
and it was
was
got to a
nerve-wracking.
point where we realized this was the hard part. We realized we're now far enough away from the town that had gas where we cannot turn around. If we turn around, we definitely run out of gas.
Halfway
Yes.
plus one step, just like
Yes.
in Patriot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And so we were like, all right, let's keep going. And I remember we got to this little mom and pop convenience store thing.
oh, yeah.
In what was like I think like a half a horse town. You know how like a 1 horse town?
Yep.
This was half a pony town. This
Yep.
was one small goat town.
the bad half.
Yeah. And we pull up there and we're like, finally, gas. And they had like old timey gas pumps.
Yep.
And I remember they had just closed. We're like, please let us in. They were inside. And they're like, yeah, we ran out of gas.
Yeah.
We don't get gas until Sunday. We're out of gas. And we're like, what? And they're like, oh, it's just up ahead, like a few miles. There's a town. We drive for another 20 minutes.
Yep.
And we're like, where there's a few miles.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the closest I've ever come to being like, I genuinely think we're going to run out of gas.
Oh, that was absolutely. Well, I mean, I did run out of gas earlier this year in New Jersey, but
This is not filling me with hope for this. I've never had it happen. You're like, oh, it just happened to me, actually.
Yeah.
I was taking a friend to the airport.
yeah, it was. It's funny too because I remember like I did see that it was very possible we were going to run out of gas, but for some reason it was just so funny to me, and I was laughing and
Sure,
laughing.
it would have been a story.
Yeah, that's what I
But-
thought about it.
Truly, in that situation, we are in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, without a
With
doubt.
it's like one road
Yes.
with nothing on the horizon. It's dark out, and we now have no cell service.
Oh yeah.
What would we have done?
Well-
I think it would have been 2 of us start walking and 2 of us stay at the car.
That's what we talked about. We said, well, we're going to have to start walking. But it's funny because I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, if we're driving for 40 minutes
Yeah.
and there's no gas, how long are we going to walk to try to find gas and then have to come back?
Yeah.
It was a little bit hairy. But we did
Yeah.
find a gas station, and it was like we immediately just were kind of in a small town. Remember that?
Oh yeah, it was wild. It was like nothing for miles, and then all of a sudden, a town intersection with a gas station.
Yeah,
and there's
exactly.
like a Friendlies or some shit across the way.
it was crazy.
Yeah, it was very strange. But again, beautiful town. I would absolutely go back. I did actually.
Yeah, you did
It
go
was
back, yeah.
Manchester, Vermont. I took Finn and Kalina up there.
Yeah.
And we had like a nice little family vacation there. It's a beautiful town.
Nice.
It was
I'm
awesome.
glad
I'd
that
love
the
to go
festival
back.
left there because the festival was taking advantage of that beautiful town.
I love the.
They
I mean,
had to move because the trick was done. Like
Yeah.
it was over. The con had been run. Fucking scumbag.
It's vicious.
We had a good time though.
Oh yeah, we had a bit of a blast for sure. That was your maple latte adventure.
Yeah, that's
You were looking
right.
for one, and we were delighted by the Rain Man-esque focus that you had on getting a maple latte.
So many
And that was a-
commonalities with Chuck and Rain Man.
And I think that that was a turning point in our relationship where you realized my toxic positivity thing. Because I remember we walked into a store and we saw a big wall of hot sauces.
The hot sauce wall, yeah.
Go ahead, say it.
And you said, if I'm remembering correctly, you said something along the lines of like, "Hey Ray, are you like a big hot sauce freak?" Because we had made jokes earlier on the trip where it was like, Chuck, you can't just have like somebody likes a thing or not likes a thing, or it's like, oh, it's good. It either is the best thing in the whole wide world, or you're insane if you don't think it's the best thing in the whole wide world. And we had just had that conversation. We walked into this little shop. We're killing time. And you just go, you big hot sauce freak? And I laughed. I was like, I like hot sauce, but I wouldn't say I'm a big hot sauce freak. And here's why it bothers me. Because
By the way, just to clarify,
Yeah.
it was, are you a big buffalo freak?
Oh, buffalo freak. Yeah. what gets me about that is the idea of like, just by clarifying my level of liking a thing, is now suddenly like I don't like it that much. You know what I mean?
Classic Chuck Staten.
I love it.
And now I'm in a position where I'm defending like, well, no, I don't have sex with it. I don't fuck buffalo.
Oh my God, I loved Freak.
This side, yeah.
To the right?
No, left.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the idea of it's funny too because I wasn't doing it as like a bit. I wasn't trying to play.
I know.
It
That's
just
genuinely what's in your mind.
came out of
We're
me
going to
so-
Terminal E.
Is it to the right?
It's
We're arriving, but we're departing. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Ray, while we're thinking about pickpockets,
We should probably wrap it up though. 'cause
Yeah,
we're-
we should
we're-
wrap it up.
I have 2 pickpocket advices. My brain has been working this whole time.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
good.
Number 1, we talked about a second fake wallet.
Yes.
I think a suit made of wallets.
Ooh,
Because
a
then
wallet suit.
Yeah, then the
Which
odds
one
are
is
your
it
favor.
in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way they could pick many pockets
Yep.
and like half your coat, still probably not get the right one.
I like that.
I forgot
Three-piece
which one actually has my money.
Yeah.
Hang
It's
on
also
one
going to be
second.
very hot.
Yes.
It's 94 degrees in Naples, and I'm walking around
All right,
in
all right.
Covered in
layers
leather.
of leather.
Other
layers
option.
of
Other
buy
option.
and try folded.
You become a pickpocket, and then if you get pickpocketed, like you still might come
Yeah.
out ahead.
I might come out ahead. You're right. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I think I would not do well at it.
Yeah.
I
That's
think people would
hilarious.
immediately look at me.
Yeah.
And then I go,
You do have large hands.
no, I pick a pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attenzione.
Yeah, these aren't deft at like
No.
slipping in, slipping out. You know what I mean? These digits aren't made for sneaking.
These are better. These are better for clubbing. Like just a big boom.
A grasp.
Yeah.
These
right.
are good graspers. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, I can grasp.
Great
Yeah.
graspers. All right. It looks like Chuck was more correct than I was about the time it took to get to Logan.
Yeah.
I
sure.
admit it.
I want to thank
kill
you
you.
Yeah.
for bringing me to the airport.
Yeah. We
I
had a
want
lot
to
of
thank
fun.
you for this being my last experience
Yeah.
until I come home. I'm going to be in Italy, Greece, and Turkey.
Oh.
I'm going to do some kind of stand-up comedy
Yes.
for the people.
Yes.
In the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how they're going to get me in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Your show's in there. Trevor.
Yeah.
What's that roaring?
Yeah.
No, I'm glad that we could have some laughs on the way.
Yeah.
Give a like, little positive, like, oh, this is fun.
I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
This was good. This worked out really well, I think.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
Brad, wrap us up.
Friends, if you have belated advice for pickpockets, send us an email, funbearablepod@gmail.com, or find the email link through
Subject line:
Funbearable Pod.
Attenzione.
Ray, best of luck on this trip. Break your legs.
Thank you. Ooh, wait.
Figuratively
Yes.
speaking.
Okay.
And for everyone out there, for Chuck Staten and Italian Ray Harrington,
Yeah.
I'm Brad Rohr
Ciao,
saying
bella.
thank you so much, and we're sorry for being a Funbearable.
Funbearable. Attenzione.